Hello, it's Steve White, Trekboy89 for Steve Arts 89, Star Trek's alleged gatekeeper. I just did something I have never done before. I watched an episode of New Trek a second time. I watched the first episode of Strange New Worlds a second time because I wanted to. I actually enjoyed it the first time, but I was quite distracted taking notes and screen capturing every single shot, and thinking of what I was going to say about it and trying to analyze it. I didn't really get to enjoy it, and I just felt like watching it again, so I did, and it was good. I've seen a few people do reviews and criticize it, and they were reaching and stretching and spinning, and they looked a bit ridiculous. I won't mention any names since one of them actually subscribes to me and there's a small chance they could watch this. The show is good. There's nothing really wrong with it. There's a few little things. Now, most of the faults people were picking were mostly because they weren't paying attention, and they were explained in the show, but they just were willfully ignoring these things just so they could criticize it, because they know the people who don't like the show, who aren't going to like the show, who aren't going to watch the show, will listen to them instead of actually watching the show. So I'm not going to be that person. I'm not that person. So, yeah, I mean, there's a couple little quibbles. The race swapping was unnecessary. They could have just had an Asian transporter chief. They didn't have to make it Chief Kyle, and change his race. They didn't have to do that. Same thing with Admiral April. They could have had another black fleet captain or admiral or someone that Pike knows come. I understand why we need diversity. I understand representation is important. I don't have any issue with that. But I don't see the point in race swapping characters that are already established when there are other characters who haven't been as well established, or they could have just made new ones. And that's always the argument with that. So, but the show is a reboot. We know this, but there's nothing wrong with doing a reboot. It's just the insincerity of not acknowledging it's a reboot that is condescending and offensive to the existing fans when you tell them, no, this is the show you've always watched. You're just a bad person for not liking it, and that whole thing that's been happening for the last 5 years with Star Trek. Because the JJ movies, of course, were reboot, and for the most part, people enjoyed them. Some people didn't. A section of the fan community didn't, because they didn't sort of accept it as a reboot and an alternate universe. They sort of saw it as not being Star Trek because, it wasn't as much like the original. I kind of didn't really feel that at first. I sort of felt it after all the criticism that I saw of the movies afterwards in reviews and stuff. I started to look at them a bit differently. But with this series, I don't see any issue with doing a reboot, so long as you acknowledge it's a reboot. And there's a security in that, because it does leave the other shows and what comes before, just untouched. It's safe. It's off in its own little universe, and nothing that you can do in the new show, can hurt it. So it's a smart move. And I guess just because I think the perception is that the JJ films as a reboot failed because they didn't sort of replace the original Star Trek. People still love the original Star Trek more than they do the JJ films. I think they felt that they failed, and they didn't want to acknowledge that this, TV universe is a reboot as well, because they thought it would hurt its success, its popularity. Now, they've got their own audience now. There's a large faction of the original Star Trek fans who don't really like the new shows, and despite that, they've managed to sort of develop their own sort of following, which we won't really debate the... it's not really wise to debate the quality of such fans and which fan bases are better or worse or different. There's gatekeepers in both. And it's kind of funny because it's just like the rest of society and America at the moment, where it's just tribal, and both people telling the other people they're wrong and yelling at them, and no one listening to anyone, and no one acknowledging the truth because they're too busy trying to score points and win. I don't do that, which is why no one likes me, because I tell them what they don't want to hear. I tell them the truth, and I'm honest. I see other people just telling people what they want to hear. People saying, yes, it's the worst show ever, it's ridiculous, it's full of woke stuff and it's hate, and then you have the other people saying, oh, it's the best show ever, it's better than the original was, backwards and blah. It's just, it's just people telling people what they want to hear. It's just echo chambers. And I'm not doing that. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I kind of regret not getting Paramount Plus and watching it on my TV screen and giving it the full sort of treatment. I watched it on my computer. I had the lights off and I was sitting right up next to it, so it sort of was decent viewing, not how I often watch stuff on my computer when it's like in a little window while I'm doing things. I actually, sat and watched it properly. But I might get Paramount Plus. I may reward CBS and Paramount for giving us a decent Star Trek show by actually paying for the service and watching it. I'm debating it because I don't have to, but I would like to watch it on my TV screen. I don't want to watch it on my computer because I was enjoying it and I would have enjoyed it more on my TV screen. So, yes, I like the new show. I will not pretend to hate it just because other people expect me to, or other people are jumping on that bandwagon because they've got an audience that asks for that and wants that and needs that confirmation bias, to feed on, and that tribal sort of trash. Fortunately, I have a small channel and I don't have to worry about losing views and losing money because, I don't make any money out of my channel. So I can just be honest, and that's the wonderful thing about it. So, because I do it for fun, I don't do it for a job. But yeah, I just wanted to say I watched it. It's good. Give it a chance, watch it. There's a couple little quibbly things. I mean, I do think mentioning Discovery and bringing that in, and the politics, they played it really well, but I just see it that way because I'm an intelligent, open-minded, progressive, left-leaning person. Other people won't view it the same, and I want them to be able to watch the show. I want them to be included in the Star Trek universe as well. I don't want them to be alienated, even though, they are who they are. I do think the show should try to speak to everyone, and I've been criticised for that. I've been called right-wing because basically I want them to be able to, watch the show as well and be included and find a way to speak to both sides of the aisle instead of just picking one, which is what I kind of feel the show's done. I think they picked the right side. It's the side I'm on. But so that's my opinion with that. So there's a few little issues, but all the other criticisms I've heard were ridiculous and cringy and embarrassing, and people are just struggling to just hate it, and I just don't get the point. I really don't. If it's good, enjoy it. Picard had like 2.5 good episodes, and 1 good episode in the first season. Discovery had a few good episodes in the 4th season, a few good episodes in the 2nd season, mostly the Pike ones. I enjoyed them for what they were, but the rest of it wasn't very good. So this, so far, we've had 1 episode and it was good. So hopefully we'll have another 9 episodes this season that are good. They're already up to episode 17. I'm looking forward to another episode. I almost feel like there's Star Trek again on TV. I have weekly Star Trek. It's like I wasn't expecting it because I was hoping this would be good. But I certainly wasn't going to invest any actual emotional anything in it emotionally because I didn't want to get upset. I didn't want to get disappointed like I was with Discovery and Picard. And also I didn't want to pay for Paramount Plus because I didn't want them to be rewarded if it was just bait and switch and just a bunch of promises. They delivered this time, so yeah, I'm happy with that, and I'm not going to let this video go over 10 minutes. I was only expecting to talk for a minute or two, but I just wanted to just enjoy this moment, share this moment, and just say the show's good. Just enjoy it. If it goes bad, we have every right to criticise it, and I just wish the studios would acknowledge that it's a reboot and allow the community to heal because it's fractured, and we have these people constantly arguing and they're never going to agree because the people have believed the lie that this is, continuity and, part of the same universe, and there are other people who know it's not the same universe, and they can never agree because, you know, they know the truth. And I just wish, you know, the studios would just take a lead and say, yes, it's a reboot. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. We have the JJ film reboots, we have the TV reboots, and we have the original, and you can enjoy both. But trying to pretend they're all the same, it's just condescending and insulting to the people who know better. So they should treat us with a bit more respect as fans, and I think they'll find, you know, we'll respond a lot better. And people can just enjoy the show and not have to argue and debate. And, yeah, it's just admit it's a reboot, let's move on and enjoy the show. I'm just enjoying it as a reboot, and I'm just going to ignore the politics of why they won't just tell the truth about it. It's just stupid. I'm not going to let that stop me from enjoying it. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the show, the series. Bye.